What's up, YouTube? I'm Rob. Some people call me Shoes.
I'm John.
And this is Delco Does It. And this is a segment we have for you called Wager Smart, where we give our thoughts on Week 2 NFL picks, and hopefully we can make you guys some money. Week 1, we're in the green, so I'm hoping to keep that momentum moving forward.
Yeah, we hit 3 out of our 5 bets last week. It took a brutal meltdown in Detroit, and it's just a terrible performance by the Eagles in Washington to even beat us in both of those games.
Absolutely horrible performance.
So, I mean, I still feel like they were the right plays. They're just teams melt down, and that's what happened last week.
It was Week 1 in the NFL. This is what goes on.
But despite that, we're in the money. You know, like 3-2, you made a little bit of money. You do that every week, you're going to be in good shape. But we're going to try and do a little better than that for you this week, and I think we will. So, I've got some quality plays here, and, I think we're going to win some.
Let's roll right into it then. What do we have?
Yeah, so I'm going to start in Pittsburgh. The Steelers hosting the Broncos. They're a 7.5-point favorite. Normally, a 7.5 line would give you value on the underdog. It's the key number thing that I mentioned last week. I'm not falling for it this week. I think it's a trap.
That defense is legit. That steel curtain is back. Top 10 defense. Easy in this NFL. Yeah. I love them this week, and I agree. I think this is a trap bet.
Yeah,
so, I love Pittsburgh here.
The number here it's teasing you to put money on the Broncos. But this is a Broncos team traveling east on short rest. I know Pittsburgh is on, they played on Monday night too, but there's an advantage of being the home team on short week.
Really, this year it's probably the only advantage when it comes to being the home team. There's no more 12th man because of, well, you guys know.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Denver's coming into town with a young quarterback. He's only got 6 starts under his belt. He's going to be without Phillip Lindsay. They still have Melvin Gordon, but this is a Steelers defense that completely shut Saquon Barkley out last week.
And Roethlisberger's back, guys. He's slinging it again. So this offense is putting up points, and they're dangerous.
Yeah, they only put up 26 last week again. A Giants team that I think is a little better than they looked. But, again, that game was not as close as the score indicates. The Steelers beat up on the Giants last week. And,
yeah, it was bad.
A few breaks kept it a little bit closer than it should have been. There was a phantom PI call somewhere in there. It just, a muffed punt. It just, little things that can, alter the score.
Week 1 shenanigans.
Yeah, so, the Broncos, they played a much lesser defense last week with very limited success. I think Locke has a bright future, but I do not think that he is ready for the Steelers defense this week at all.
I like Locke, but he's not my lock this week. I like the Steelers all day.
Yeah, their game last week was not as close as the score would tell you. They benefited from 3 missed field goals and a missed extra point. There's 10 points that, were taken off the board right there against them. They didn't show me a lot, and their defense is just absolutely depleted with injuries right now. The Steelers are sporting a very balanced attack. Big Ben looks absolutely fine. I think the Steelers win this game, 2 touchdowns here. Like, they roll all over this week. The Broncos get crushed.
Yeah, agree. Let's see. Week 2, next matchup.
So, I'm going down to Tampa. We're going with the Bucks, Panthers, under 47.5. Now, I've seen talking heads on ESPN predict a shootout.
You don't see Tampa Tommy going off, huh?
No, I don't see the game plan being for him to consistently throw the ball downfield and turn this into a shootout. I think they had to completely abandon the run in New Orleans last week in the second half. You're not going to see that again. You're going to see a lot of the Tampa running game this week.
Yeah, I agree. They do not want to see their 43-year-old quarterback having to throw the ball that much. They brought in Fournette for a reason. I think we're going to get a heavy, heavy dose of him this week.
He is going to take his shots. I do expect the Bucs to right the ship and get the win. But I just don't see the score getting run up here. I think, on the flip side of the ball, Teddy Bridgewater, it's no secret that he's not an arm strength guy. You're going to get a lot of dink, dunk, short passing game. They're going to try to use McCaffrey as much as possible, which normally should terrify any defense, but the Bucs are not scared of this guy. They bottled him up in both meetings last year to the tune of 110 total yards in 2 combined games.
Yeah.
The Bucs defense is, I think they're legit. I think they're underrated. I think they have a chance to be really, really good this year. And I think the clock keeps moving in this game. And I think 47.5 is just way too many points. I love the under in Tampa.
Yeah, I love the under as well, and McCaffrey may want to do another GQ shoot this Sunday instead of face that defense, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think he should leave the photo shoots to his girlfriend, but, you know.
What do we got next?
All right, Chiefs, minus 8.5 against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Patty Mahomes, man.
Yeah.
What can you say? I mean, hey, I'm going to bet with this kid until a team proves me otherwise. And this offense is so potent. I think they throw this big number at you so your eyes get wide and you think there's value where there's really not.
I mean, just so many weapons. I mean, Mahomes is already so good, and he's so young, and he's just going to keep getting better and better. I'm just not going to overthink this one. 8.5 would normally be a lot of points, but for this Chiefs team, it just isn't.
Yeah.
There's a quality defense in San Diego. They're above average. They're not going to be terrible this year, but that's just not going to be enough to slow this Chiefs attack down. It just isn't.
The homeboy can score 8.5 points in his sleep.
Yeah.
So I like that bet a lot this week.
Yeah, I mean, and on the other side of the ball, the Chargers only managed to put up 16 points against a bottom barrel defense in Cincinnati last week.
Very pedestrian performance.
Yeah. Tyrod Taylor, he's just a journeyman
Tyrod
quarterback.
is tired.
You're not going to get a lot out of him. I mean, it feels like he's been around forever, but hasn't really done a whole lot. San Diego's got a lot to figure out. He's obviously not their long-term solution. He didn't run that offense with much potency last week against a pretty bad defense.
Yeah.
So
just wasn't much to look forward to. He didn't give us much. That team didn't give us much. I see them doing the same this week, if not less. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting a double-digit win by the Chiefs here, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this thing get out of hand early.
Yeah,
so Chiefs,
I think by halftime that 8.5 is going to be covered.
Chiefs minus 8.5 here. I love it.
Same. Okay. What do we have next?
Cool. So we're gonna move on to Sunday Night Football. The Seattle Seahawks laying 4 points at home to the New England Patriots, coming into town
Russ
cross
versus
country. Listen, Russell Wilson, it seems like the guy just keeps getting better and better every single year.
He's like a fine wine, man. As he ages, it's just incredible football play. I love watching him play. His escapability, his pocket presence, and poise back there. I haven't seen quarterback play like that in a long time. I think he does get overlooked with a lot of these young guys that have come onto the scene, but don't sleep on him, man. He's gonna sling it this week.
Yeah, Russ is a phenomenal football player. I think he got completely snubbed by not getting a single MVP vote last year. Like, I understand how incredible Lamar Jackson was, but I mean, Russ was every bit as good. He just was.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the NFL that is better at making things happen when receivers are covered and plays break down. The guy gets out of the pocket and he makes plays. He is the best playmaker in the NFL, and I understand that Patty Mahomes exists. We just talked about him.
Yep.
But Russ is elite. He's right up at the top of
And he's done it on a yearly basis.
He just keeps doing it year after year, getting better and better, and that's going to continue this week. The strong suit of the Patriots defense is their secondary. But
New England has to travel as well.
They put the clamps on Miami pretty much last week. But Seattle's not Miami. Russ is not Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is going to be a much, much bigger challenge for this Patriots defense with, a front seven that isn't what it has been in years past. And, this is a Seattle offense that's going to be a lot better than this Miami offense that they faced last week. I think this is a bad matchup for the Patriots defense. Yeah, I mean, I understand the Seattle defense gave up 450 yards passing down in Atlanta last week.
Where is that Legion of Boom now?
That's not going to happen again this week. I mean, I get that the Seattle defense is not at all what it was in years past, but they're still decent. They're still an above-average defense, and they're going to want to have a bounce-back performance this week. We kind of saw how Belichick is going to want to use Cam a little bit last week. He let him run. He turned him loose a little bit, and I don't think you're going to see as much of that this week. I think you're going to see some different looks. But, at the end of the day, I just don't think Cam and the Patriots offense is good enough to really put up a big number or enough of a number to keep up with, what Russ is going to do on the other side of the scoreboard.
I agree 100%. I'm curious to see if Cam can push the ball down the field. They were so run heavy last week. I think that's going to have to be how they attack every game to be successful. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that this week to keep up with Seattle.
No, I mean, Tom Brady drug that offense limping along to, being mediocre last year. And I'm just not sure if Cam is going to be able to do that on a weekly basis against quality teams.
The weapons just aren't there.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of weapons to work with. He really doesn't. I mean, his legs and Julian Edelman. And beyond that, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I look for Seattle to, have a really good performance at home in prime time this week. I think Russ and the Seahawks get it done. They cover the -4 against New England here.
I'm on board with the Russ bus as well. I love that pick. So what do we have for our final stop?
All right, so this is my favorite bet of the week. It's the
Delco Diamond pick of the week.
The Green Bay Packers giving 6 at home to the Detroit Lions, who absolutely crushed one of our bets last week with a meltdown in the fourth quarter.
Mr. Rodgers, I am sorry from the bottom of my heart. You do not look old. You look like a rejuvenated, driven quarterback that's ready to lead his team. He looked magnificent out there.
He did. I mean, he picked apart a cornerback core in Minnesota that's very inexperienced, and I called the outright underdog win last week, and it happened. He put up a big crooked number on the road.
He sure did.
Against a defense in Minnesota that's supposed to be pretty good. So that could be a little bit scary. This Detroit defense is they're not great. They're below average. They made Mitch Trubisky look like he was a good quarterback in the fourth quarter last week. It was brutal. Like that. If Mitch is going to be able to do that against these guys, Aaron Rodgers is going to destroy them, I think. So, another one, I'm just not overthinking this. Rodgers is going to rip apart this Detroit Lions defense, and there's just not going to be enough on the other side of the ball offensively that Stafford and the Lions are going to be able to do against a Green Bay defense that I think is much, much better than the scoreboard indicates last week. They're going to be looking to play better this week. Rodgers and the Packers win by a touchdown or more here.
Yeah, I love it. I'm completely on board with that. I don't think Detroit has the firepower to keep up with Rodgers in that offense, and I think Green Bay's defense is much more well-rounded than Detroit as well. So I like it, and that's how we're going to close out our week. And please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Hit that like button right there, and share us on social media platforms. Also, Delco Does It is going to be bringing a lot of different content to this channel, such as racing videos, all kinds of different content. We'll be having live chats going back and forth with us to where you can speak, and please interact with us in the comments section.
Yeah, and any questions you have about any of these games, toss them at me in the comments, man. I'll absolutely talk to you about it right there, and give you a little more info if you need it. The one thing that you notice this week is all my picks were favorites, which is not the norm for me. But, we have to go where I
have to go where the value is, guys.
You got to go where the money is.
That's where it is this week.
And I think that's where it is.
And we want to stay in the money.
So, but if you do like underdogs, take a look at the Giants getting 5.5 in Chicago this week. It's not an official bet by me, but it is a lean. I think this Giants team is, they're not, I wouldn't call them good at all by any means, but I think they're slightly underrated. I think
Danny Dimes, he has his moments.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit better.
Saquon's a dangerous dude, man.
Yeah, so again, I don't like it enough to make it an official pick, but I kind of like it as a lean. So, give that a look if you want some underdog action. And as always, bet responsibly. It's your money. It's your responsibility. Make sure you like the plays, too, before you put your bets down.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, I'm staying away from the Eagles game this week.
Oh, yeah.
I do hope they get it turned around and Carson learns how to get rid of the ball. Year 5, kid. Come on. This is time to show us what you got.
Yeah, rough one out of our birds last week.
Lane's back, Miles back's definitely going to help our offensive line and our offense for sure, and take some of the pressure off him where he doesn't need to try and go for that long ball or that touchdown every single play.
Yeah, I'm all for this game completely. It opened up at 4.5. It got all the way down to a pick'em, and I think it came back a little bit to -1, favoring the Eagles. Aaron Donald terrifies me. You saw what he did against Dallas last week.
He was
throwing guys around like they were children.
Double teams.
Yeah, and
I
our
saw
offense
him plant 2 guys in the air.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Our offensive line.
Go Birds!
Yeah, Carson needs to get rid of the ball.
Yes,
get rid of the
please.
ball, Carson. I understand it's not all your fault, but it's
I
a
wanna
little
see
bit
you
your
in
fault.
week 3,
It's
buddy.
a little bit your fault.
All right, guys.
And if you like the Delco Go Bird shirt, check it out. Amazon Prime, Delco Wear. Go pick yours up. There's actually another Go Birds
Shameless
design.
plug.
Shameless plug. Absolutely, go get it.
I love it, Johnny boy. So
Yeah.
we'll see you week 3, guys. I
Yeah,
hope
we'll
you
see
enjoyed
next
it.
week.
Peace out, Delco.